Things are not looking financially good for the millennial generation or my generation. The costs of college tuition, housing, healthcare, and childcare have all went up far faster than the rate of inflation. And the rate of inflation has went up far faster than the rate of income growth. The average income that a millennial makes is $35,500 a year. Now that's 20% lower than the inflation-adjusted income that baby boomers made at the same age and stage. And the average millennial's net worth is less than $8,000. That's a dramatic 34% decrease compared to somebody of the same age in 1996. And the average student graduating in the college class of 2018 had $29,800 of student debt. Our generation the millennial generation is suffering from incomes. The millennial generation is suffering from vastly overinflated costs of education, which you need to get a job, which is paying you less for housing that costs more. This is not going to work if we want to have a bright future. And the reality is that a lot of this problem comes from the federal government subsidizing student loans. Why is that? Well, because it put college in. And this was a good thing because it made college affordable for a lot of people who could not afford to go to college. But it's a bad thing because it allowed the schools to jack up the prices to levels that would never fly in the market economy. This is why so many schools charge absurd amounts of money to go now. The same thing happened with housing prices. The federal government determined that it would be a good thing to help more people get into homes, but the federal government determined to be a good thing to get more people into home ownership, and so it acted to subsidize mortgages, backing them up with the federal dime. This was a bad thing because it caused more people than should have been able to afford homes to buy them, which artificially inflated the prices. And we saw this come crashing down with the real estate debacle of 2007 that actually left half of the millennial generation coming into a job market with no jobs in a crashed economy. What we can learn is that federal intervention into markets, whether that be into the housing market or into the education market, leads to increases in prices that ultimately set a whole generation behind. And if our generation doesn't realize that and continues to support government policies that subsidize behavior in the short run that is beneficial to us, but in the long run causes prices to go up so dramatically that we can't afford anything, we will be poor forever. Also, if you're going to go to college, make damn well sure that you are getting a degree that is going to actually pay you enough to pay off your student loans. Or if you're not going to do that, don't go to college. There are more opportunities than there have ever been before in the trades because many of the professionals who did those jobs, electricians, plumbers, construction, are retiring, and there aren't enough young people to fill those jobs. So if you're somebody who's trying to decide whether to go to college, understand that you will be screwed if you come out of school with $30,000 of debt and no plan to pay that money back. You won't be able to get married when you want to. You won't be able to have kids when you want to. You won't be able to afford a house. You'll be renting forever, and you're going to have your parents help pay for your bills forever, which is why we need to address the problems that are making us poorer than our parents, or we will have a disaster on our hands in the next generation.